I was in the thrift shop yesterday, elated because I had found a coat that I could afford for $5. After wearing my husband's old leather jacket, which had dwarfed me for 3 years in a row, I was thrilled to finally be able to get something feminine of my own. I stood for a long time in line. You know how busy it is just before Christmas. There was a rather fragile-looking elderly man waiting in front of me who had done his best to dress the part of a gentleman. Long, thinning silver curls had been swept under an ancient-looking fedora. An equally worn gray suit jacket hung limply across stooped shoulders. Dark slacks of good quality, a tad too short, revealed mismatched argyle socks. Impressively black dress shoes whose soles had seen better days had been spit-polished to a shine. It was obvious that despite his poverty, he took great pride in his appearance the way people used to when I was a child. However, it was just as apparent that he hadn't bathed in a few months. We were all forced to keep our distance while trying to retain our places in line. Despite his stench, he was a sweet man. Cloudy blue orbs appeared half-blind with glaucoma, but you could still see the light of his soul shining with excitement when it was his turn to place his purchases on the counter. You would have thought by his merry countenance that he'd found the bargain of the century. I was stunned when I saw what he arranged in front of the cashier. 2 faded pink plastic bowls, and a Santa hat that was so dilapidated it was amazing to me that it had even been put up for sale. The cashier rang up his treasures at a nickel apiece, except for the hat, which was 15 cents. He took out a weathered leather coin purse that looked to be as old as he was and began counting out his meager coins, which for the record looked so battered I had to wonder if he'd found them on the street. You know, the kind of coins you see that have been flattened by tires or turned green in the weather. The disgust on the cashier's face was tangible. I admit the old fellow was pretty ripe. She didn't even try to hide her disgust at having to pick up the coins or her revulsion as she waited on him.
You still need 11 more cents.
He looked crestfallen.
I'm afraid that's all the money I have.
Well, you'll have to put something back.
But you don't understand. These are our Christmas dishes.
Turning bright red with embarrassment. He looked near tears. At that moment, I understood that those dishes were like the most exquisite china to him, and knew that for whatever reason, he had fallen in love with them. He had to have them. I could wear my husband's jacket another winter. I leaned in, holding my breath, and smiled, offering him one of my dollar bills. Here, I want you to have your dishes. He looked at me in confusion.
Oh no, I couldn't take charity.
I waved away his protest. It's a gift. Merry Christmas. He still looked alarmed for another moment. Then his eyes cleared and in a brief flash turned the most amazing shade of blue I'd ever seen. For a split second, I could see what a charmer he'd been in his youth. He beamed, then swept me a bow that would have honored a queen. He paid the cashier with my dollar as if it were $1 million bill, offering me back the change. I declined, declaring that he might find a few other little trinkets he wanted. Pushing it into his little coin purse, as if it were the last dime he'd ever have, grateful for it, he left the store holding his purchases like the most fragile package he'd ever carried. His smell permeated the air, even after his exit, and the gust of wind that blew in with the next customer caused all of us to exhale in relief. I laid my coat on the counter a little wistfully. I told the cashier I couldn't get it. Should I rehang it? She reached for it with a rude remark about to toss it in her discard pile when the lady behind me placed a firm hand on it, laying a $5 bill on the counter. I protested. She smiled warmly, patting my arm.
It's a Christmas present.
I left the store cheerfully, thrilled with my new coat. As I climbed into my car, I noticed a little boy standing beside a bicycle heavily laden with black garbage bags.
He was dressed like his grandpa.
A little gentleman with dirty cheeks rosy from the cold. Atop his tiny head perched that old worn-out Santa hat, and he was examining a pink plastic bowl like it was the finest china he'd ever seen. He handed the dish back to his grandpa reverently, as if it were delicate. My breath caught in my throat as he radiated the sweetest smile of pleasure in sharing their treasure that I'd ever seen. Neither of them owned winter coats. Both shivered in thin suit jackets. I sat there helplessly, tears streaming down my cheeks, not knowing what to do. I couldn't just drive away and leave them to the mercy of the winter elements. It was obvious they were homeless with no protection from the wintry mix that was heading our way. While I was bickering with myself, they rounded the corner. When I finally got up enough courage to follow them and offer them a bath and a hot meal, the use of a phone to call a shelter, they disappeared forever. I've been trying since yesterday to find them. I dreamed about them last night. I was still so worried for their safety. On Christmas Day, I don't know what they will be eating out of those dishes, or even if they will wash them first. I do know that if they are still alive, they will be together, and it will be the finest dinner in the world because they shared it and ate it from their treasured dishes. This is what I will think about on Christmas morning this year, and every year from now on. I regret that I hesitated to offer them the milk of human kindness because the old man smelled, or because in the past when I tried to help others, they hurt me. I want to share this story with all of my love and the sincere wish that each of you have each other and pink plastic dishes in your lives. Most of all, you will remember what this celebration is all about. God so loved us that he gave his only son so that we might live forever. Let us love unconditionally and share our lives meaningfully, not only at Christmas, but throughout the entire year. God bless each of you.